welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. We're back. I know. It's like, where have you been? You haven't done like 3 episodes a week for ages. Where have you been? Well, we've been moving house. And I've been leading up to the fact that we've been moving house for some time. So we've moved house. And so we're recording. And we're back. And we're here. And we thought that we might want to talk about it. And because I am now in my man cave or my games room or whatever you want to talk about, there's lots of geeky stuff. There's lots of nerdy stuff. So if I'm going to talk to somebody, I might as well get myself a little bit of nerd therapy. So it only felt right to get from Nerd Therapy Nils the Red from Nerd Therapy. So hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I am doing good. I'm home alone in the house.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
so you're able to sit around, do nothing, eat when you want, sleep when you want. Are you working this week as well? Are you off work as well?
I'm off work. I have a summer holiday and so I'm just lounging around in the boxers, enjoying my life.
Have you actually put on any trousers at all in the last couple of days? Are you just being purely been pants central?
They left this morning, so yeah, and then the pants gone.
Since then, it's been the hun bit wearing your pants.
Bye, honey. Lock the door. Click. Pants off. Oh.
Just that bit of relaxation. That's cool. That's cool. We better do the admin for people that haven't listened to us before. Hello. Thank you for listening. The reason that we do this is because there's quite simply not enough podcasts out there about board games. Well, maybe there is. You need to check iTunes. I don't check iTunes anymore. Just don't bother. And the other reason that we do this is because Nils was on a little while ago when we had the rest of the Nerd Therapy crew on. And we've kind of promised to have people back on again, and it's just through one of these things and people being busy and stuff like that. It just, Nils said, I'm free this week. I said, I'm recording this week. And it seemed like a good time to get everybody back together in the saddle, as you would say.
Yeah.
So, felt it was a good time to find out a little bit more about yourself, because obviously we talked, we kind of covered, we talked with Penny, we talked with Chris, but you didn't get a kind of a chance to kind of tell us a kind of a bit about yourself. So, do you want to start off? Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you kind of got into the kind of the tabletop, the RPG type hobby? Obviously you're not in the UK.
No, so, I'm in Norway.
You're in Norway, which is it's a little bit more on a bus journey. But how did you get into the hobby first of all?
Well, I never actually played D&D until about a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I played board games with the family and that stuff, but nothing big. I wasn't that much of a gamer actually either. Just an odd PC game or something. But then I found podcasting and I found the Incomparable, and they started their D&D thing, and I was hooked basically. And having a brother-in-law that used to play D&D and telling me stories from the campaigns and such that I thought was funny, and I've been reading his battle logs on the internet, so that rekindled it. And basically I found Ian on the Facebook community and everything rolled from there, and now I'm hooked. Hook, line and sinker.
Do you have a collection? Do you have a board game collection yourself then? I mean, you mentioned you kind of started off with a board game, so do you have a small collection yourself?
I have just the odd, with the regular Monopoly and all that, Cluedo and that stuff, but nothing fancy. It's just for the family. So one day maybe I will start buying more games, but right now it's enough for me with the D&D.
So you really, you're one of the guys that you've not been in the hobby like a couple of years. So you've right at the beginning, so you've not got a mass collection or anything like that? The
No,
only thing
no,
you've
no, nothing
concentrated
like
on?
that. 5e was my first introduction to Dungeons and Dragons, so I didn't even have the baggage from 3.5 and 4.
Yeah?
Although when I listened to the Incomparable, they were playing 3.5 at the beginning, I think, and then went over to 5e. So there was some parts that was like, why isn't there any bloody or some parts I thought were missing from the game, but I realized they were playing a different version.
So, I mean, when you started off, I mean, is it easy to get into kind of like the D&D scene? I mean, because obviously I listened to Nerd Therapy, I listened to A Quest for Magic and Steel, and you guys you kind of skirt around the really, really complicated stuff. You never really kind of go into, you never kind of really go into the rule book. There doesn't seem to be a massive, you have battles and stuff like that, but there doesn't seem to be like a number roll for every single time you're kind of doing something. It's all kept kind of quite light and kind of quite accessible. Obviously, the battles are something different, but I mean, you going into the hobby, did you find it quite accessible? Did you find it quite easy to get into?
I did actually. Of course, it helped that I've been listening to the podcast about the Incomparable guys playing, and you pick up stuff after a while, and you start to get the hang of the game, even though you're not playing it, and so that helped. I wasn't completely noob when I started, but still, it was listening to a game and playing a game is two different things. So it's there was a bit of how do I do this in the beginning, but it came pretty rapidly actually, and I found D&D, at least the 5e edition, actually quite easy to get into, and the rules aren't too complicated. You can do a bit of hand waving, or you can be a stiffler about the rules. That's up to the DM.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, Ben he likes the hand wavy stuff, and he's a forgiving DM. So we have had times we have to discuss the rules or how this thing works and how that thing works, but most of the time it's just roll for initiative and have fun.
Exactly.
My two favorite words.
Did you find? I mean, obviously you being Norwegian, was there a language barrier at all?
No. I've been. My English is pretty good. It's I understand it probably better than I speak it, but so I have an accent. I don't like it, but
yeah,
it's there. I'm Norwegian. What can I do? But no, English is no problem for me. So I actually prefer, if I were to be honest, if I were to play D&D now in Norwegian, I would actually feel odd. It would probably be more embarrassing for me to play it in Norwegian than in English.
Really?
Because it's like you become a different character altogether when you play it in English, because it's not my main language. So I can really become Eldrick when I play. I don't have to think too much.
Yeah. Have you looked at kind of local groups to where you kind of live then? I mean, are there kind of local kind of D&D groups? Is that something that you've ever investigated, or is that something that you've got with Nerd Therapy?
I know there's a few of them in the city, but we live like a half an hour drive outside the city, so it's around here. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. I know one guy who's a childhood friend of my brother-in-law who did play some, but I don't know the guy particularly, so there's no group around here. But that's okay. That's okay by me. I enjoy playing with the guys, so right now I don't need anything in the analog world, so to speak.
You're quite happy. I mean, you don't have
happy.
Not got the massive collection of games and stuff like that anyway, so you're kind of free of having to worry about the kind of the cupboard space and finding the time to even kind of play the games and organise stuff. And I guess when you're doing it online, it's easier to kind of jump in,
Yeah,
jump
it
in
is,
and jump
but,
out.
you know,
Yeah.
still with house and family and kids and everything, finding the time, that's not easy. But, you know, we try to do the every third Saturday that we have. But I have been absent for a few sessions now, and David Steele have been helpful enough to step in my place. And he's been enjoying himself, and I've been enjoying listening to it, so it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess one of the questions is, he seems to be doing a constant impression of you, but he has you. He's kind of doing like an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah, he tried.
Have you taken him aside and said, "David, you're a lovely guy, but I'm not Austrian." You know.
No, I gave him my blessing. He told me he couldn't do Norwegian accent, so he said, if it's okay, I'll do Arnold. I said, go for it, man.
He just, but I don't know, I don't think I've ever heard kind of like a D&D campaign that's had so many helicopters in it, because every kind of, at least once per episode, you got David screaming down the microphone, "Get to the chopper," kind of thing.
Get to the chopper! Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of planet Aldrich thinks he's on, but there's no chopper in D&D.
Exactly. Unless it's some kind of like big sword kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get involved in? I mean, you touched on it very, very briefly about the Facebook group, but how did you get involved directly in the kind of like the Nerd Therapy kind of podcasting?
Well, like. It's a long story, sort of. But we had the Incomparable guys have a D&D group. A Facebook group where they post stuff before they went over to Slack. Now it's kind of dormant, but back then it was a big thing. And Ian posted a post where he's bought the 5e core books and the player's handbook and everything. Mm-hmm. And me just browsing along, being a bit bored, thought, I want to play D&D. This guy has the books. Why don't we play? Yeah. And so I posted, and they kind of liked the idea. So all of a sudden we have 10, 15 guys talking, and out of the 10, 15 guys, we had 7 who joined us in the first session. And one of them fell away, and now we're 6 left, 7 including me. So
was it kind of weird, kind of talking to strangers? I mean, look at it this way, right? There's a lot of people that have, internet friends. There's a whole pile of us that can say, right, I know, for instance, I know a lot of people kind of in the hobby. I wouldn't say I know a lot of people to speak to the hobby. And I know a lot of people I'll message kind of back and forth, but I'll never actually kind of speak to them on a voice-to-voice basis. Me and you occasionally share messages, but we don't actually talk kind of back and forward like on Skype. Was it weird kind of you all kind of getting together for the first time and having that kind of conversation and getting kind of everything set up? Was there a lot of organisation to kind of get the first game going?
There was a lot of scheduling, Americans, English people, everything. It was a scheduling nightmare, but I don't know for the rest of the guys, but I like talking on voice. I prefer that from writing if I can, and we had been chatting to and from in Slack for a while, so we started to know each other, and like magic, everybody just clicked. We have the same humor and we have the same mentality, so to speak. Some of us might be more childish than others, but
Ian,
yeah, and Ian,
Chris,
okay,
Penny.
We're mostly childish, but okay. Some have impulse control, some have shame, some don't.
Some have, especially if you're Ian, you've got no shame whatsoever. Have you been playing the same character for a while? I mean, how long's Nerd? Because Nerd Therapy is basically, it's a podcast which is following the adventures of your crew, the team, as they're going through various kind of missions and stories, and sometimes you got like your main mission, and then you'll have kind of occasional kind of breakaway ones, and you've been kind of rolling with the same kind of team for, as you said, for quite a while as well.
Yeah.
And the character you play is Aldrich, isn't it?
Yeah. We had, just to break it down, we had the first session was with a different character. I had a Goliath that I made just for that. It was partly a pre-made character. So we started with that one, and that was just a one-off. So that's the first 3 episodes, and everything after that. We're up to 40 episodes now. So apart from 1 and 2, a few one-offs where some of us couldn't make it, or we had a special occasion, we've been playing with the same characters since episode 4.
Wow.
So we're in a campaign that supposedly takes, what did Ben say, 80 hours or something?
Yeah.
And he said with the speed we're going, we should be done by 2020. With any luck.
So maybe this might be a long-term thing. This might be a retirement thing. Because I've heard of stories that people like, you see them playing. They've been playing the same Dungeons and Dragons game for like the last 25 years or something like that, and they're all kind of old and grey, and they've kind of built up their own their own teams, and the scenery that they have is absolutely stunning, and they've just invested so much into it they can almost kind of double guess. But I guess the question is, right, when you were you could have got together, you could have just been a group, you could have done the roll, I take it it's roll 20 that you used for where did the decision come to say, guys, this is a lot of fun, let's kind of turn it into a podcast? Where did that kind of come from?
Well, the idea was to record it from day one, actually, and see if maybe Incomparable would do it as a bonus episode. And but we realized we were having really, really much fun, so we thought let's continue to do this. And after much debating, we found a name for the podcast and just started to release it under the DVMPE. Yeah, that's right. Banner, and that's we're just enjoying it so much, so we thought we'll keep doing it. It wasn't for the listeners in the start. It was for our fun, and what people started to like what we do, and we have grown to become among the 3 top podcasts in the network every week.
All right. Okay. Do you feel you're kind of like having to get involved in the promotion side of things as well? Because what I notice is a big difference between just creating the content and putting it out there and making sure kind of people are aware that you're kind of existing. Do you feel kind of like a bit of pressure because you're part of the team to make sure that you're helping to kind of promote the podcast and kind of taking part in promoting it? Because I guess, do different people in the team have different roles?
No, we have Ian, he's the editor, and Ben is the DM. But apart from that, everybody just posts it we post on the Reddit, we do the Facebook thing, and Twitter is the big. I think this is the main place we promote, and then we do some guest appearances on other podcasts, and we talk to lovely people like yourself and. Enjoy the how do you call it? The mutual exchange of plugs.
Yeah. As I say, tell me about the kind of the character at the moment and where you are with the story with regards to what you're playing just now.
Okay, I'm playing Aldrich. He's a half-orc. He's around 200 plus years, a bit old for his kind. That's that's because he ended up on the bad side of a wizard once, and he was trying to put a spell on him to turn him to a living undead, and he misfired or wasn't very good, and he just ended up not aging. So Elric doesn't age.
Oh, right, okay.
He's been stuck in his mid 30, 40 something since 200 years ago, and but he has amnesia. He doesn't remember who he is.
All right.
When he used to drink to remember. That's not something you usually hear, but that worked for him. But still being drunk for 200 years, even what you can remember starts to get fuzzy. So he decided to stop drinking, and now he just lives on adrenaline.
That must have been
that was his excuse for being absent a few times. He was detoxing. So now he's just prone to picking fights wherever he can, so he can keep his adrenaline up.
Oh, right. So is he the member of the party that is like, you're approaching a pack of wolves, what do? Do you wait in the bushes? And it's like, no, you just go ahead and kind of like charge, sword draw, and start fighting things all the time.
Yeah, that's my play style, so that works perfect. I'm the guy who goes. If you go to a barn or something, you hear strange noises in the attic. Do you investigate? I go inside. And everybody else is just standing outside. But what? And you hear the DM.
How much is the character of kind of Aldrich like yourself then? I mean, is it a complete departure? Because you sound quite kind of quite chilled individual. But are you the kind of guy? Are you the kind of the angry, going about causing mischief type of person, or are you quite kind of laid back?
I may cause mischief, but I'm not. I try not to be angry. But yeah, he's based a bit on myself. I'm battling with depression, and I have some internal anger roaming around. So D&D is a good way of getting that out. So yeah, he's probably what I would be if I didn't have self-control. Okay. I guess. So yeah, it's a bit like who I am on the inside, I guess. But also I like to cause mischief, and I like to prank people and that stuff. So that's all me.
I mean,
of course, I have no shame. So.
Well, you're sober now, so you've got no excuse for making a fool of yourself. I mean, before when you were drunk, you were fine. Now, if you cause any mischief, it's because you're sober and because you're kind of like a scallywag.
My wife keeps telling me I have to think about what I do. It goes like, "But what's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that?" So yeah, I can be a nuisance sometimes, and my oldest kid is like, "Dad, please, you're embarrassing me." I know, it's fun.
It's, as a father, it's your right to embarrass your children.
No, as my father, it's my duty.
It is your duty.
Yeah, it's my duty to embarrass her so I can prepare her for the real life.
Well, exactly. Yeah. At some point, they can't go about thinking you're completely wonderful and completely cool all the time. On occasion, you're not doing your duty, as you said, unless they're at some point going, "Oh, Dad!"
Yeah. She has a boyfriend. I've been threatening to call him Loverboy when he comes around.
Ooh.
So every time he calls, I'm on the other side of the living room going, "Loverboy."
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, "Dad!" Stomp.
She must be loving that. She must be absolutely loving that. Yeah. But as I say, no, you're allowed to do that. You're being protective, no matter what she maybe thinks at the moment, how embarrassing you are.
Yeah, she's going on 13, so I have to enjoy it while I can.
Exactly. Because next thing you know, they'll be turning up with grandkids,
Oh,
you know,
God.
they'll be 30 years old, and you'll be like, what happened? Where did all the kind of the time go?
Yeah, but if when she comes with grandkids, I get to teach them how to embarrass her.
Exactly. So you get to kind of like do a sandwich action.
Yeah.
You get to do it from both. You get to do it from both sides.
I was just going to say I have a 6-year-old daughter too, and she's been picking up my slack every now and then.
So she been embarrassing your daughter as well. That's absolutely fantastic.
I heard her once. Who are you talking to? She says the name of her boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, the lover boy." And I'm from the kitchen going, "Yes."
Just like when she walks back through, you're like giving her a high five.
Oh yeah, of course.
You're giving her some extra pocket money as well. There you go.
Yeah, here you go.
There's a little reward for you as well.
Yeah,
Have you played? I mean, you mentioned you got like obviously a small, kind of known. Have they expressed any interest in kind of like D&D role playing, anything like that at all? Have you ever done any kind of smaller games with them at all?
Well, my daughter, she's obsessed. She can't listen to the podcast, but I say, when you're older, honey, you get to listen, but not now. Why do you swear a lot? No, that's not the case. There's all the innuendo.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she's not allowed to listen to it.
There's maybe some of the bits that she's kind of like she'll not understand because maybe she's too young. But it's when you worry about when they are listening and they do understand, and you still think that they're too young to kind of understand, which is the kind of the scary bit.
That's where she is. But she's been wanting to try it, and I just haven't been. I don't feel I'm that good that I can start DMing her. So the plan is maybe when my brother-in-law comes, we're gonna try to do a game with her and the younger one, because he plays and his son plays, and his daughter has tried it once. So see if we can get the game together one summer, I think. And but we did try one of the Parsley games this fall, if you know about those.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
So I was the computer. They were she and my niece and nephew and my youngest were the player and was trying to do the go left, go right stuff. And it was fun. She liked it. We might try that again sometime.
And what about yourself? I mean, have you thought about kind of doing kind of other campaigns, kind of maybe dropping in as a guest slot on kind of other podcasts yourself then?
Well, I have been offered a guest role in David Steele's podcast when the time fits. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to do that, and then I'm hoping I can maybe find time to do the Vampire Masquerade that Tim is doing, but I haven't found the time yet. And and I try to do other stuff. We have some campaigns in mind that I hope we can do later. I really, really want to try the Lasers and Liches, the Retroverse.
Okay.
That's what Snicklesocks is working on, and that looks amazing. It's lizards and dragons and 80s and glam, and oh my god.
Are you a bit of a goth at heart then? Are you?
I love dragons, but more importantly, I love the 80s, and that's just pure 80s charm all over. So it just plays me every string I have. So I really want to play that sometime. But yeah, I'm not a goth. I am a metalhead. I love my heavy metal, and I have a soft spot for dragons. I have a dragon on my arm. I have a shit ton of dragon jewelry I use.
Really?
So, but yeah, it's kind of in the DNA when you listen to progressive metal like I do.
What kind of music are you? I mean, what kind of bands do you listen to then?
Dream Evil is a Swedish band. I have Sabaton, it's also Swedish, and Hammerfall, Stratovarius. Yeah, I like the melodic type stuff, and preferably I like it if they have a female singer. I'm thinking female singers and metal, that works perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever played in a band yourself? Then have you ever picked up a guitar, sang yourself?
No, I don't play any instruments, and my singing voice, let's just say, crows run away. But if the volume on the stereo is high enough, I will sing, but it's because nobody can hear me.
So is that what you're going to be doing this week then?
Probably. And I am going to do a show with desk chair musical.
All right.
We're going to do the Buffy the Vampire Slayers episode once more with feeling. I told Danny if I don't get to play Spike, I'm going to take a flight over to USA and I'm going to kick his ass. So he said, "You're Spike."
They're going to bring somebody else in to play Spike.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on Skype, and it's like we do the whole episode, lyrics and talking and everything. So it's like a musical / play thing.
Yeah, it's because anyone's not aware, and this seems to happen like on every kind of maybe supernatural type show. Is there's always seems to be an episode where everybody gets kind of like caught in some kind of spell, which they end up singing.
I love
every single thing. I can't. When's the last time I saw it? I'm pretty sure the last thing I saw was like some kids' cartoon, which was like a Transformers Rescue Bots thing, where everybody kind of got infected with some kind of computer virus, and then everybody was kind of ended up kind of singing. It was just like this.
I think Castle had that episode like that too.
I'm pretty sure they all do. I'm pretty sure what happens is when they get to like maybe season 4 or 5, when they've just had the really big kind of face off against the big bad guy, and then season 5 they're kind of wondering what to do next. I'm pretty sure that there's a temporary writer that comes in and just, sneaks up to the ideas board and sticks a post-it note on the whiteboard that just says, "Make everything a musical."
Yeah, and then he's just fabulous.
And so are you practicing for this?
I've been listening to the soundtrack for that thing for years already, so I have the song pretty much down.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I've been practicing a little. I've seen that episode so many times I can't even count it.
What do you think of the news of them remaking it then?
Like I said on Facebook, there's no Scooby Gang, there's no Buffy.
And that's what you're sticking with?
That's what I'm sticking with. They can remake whatever they want, but if there's no Sarah Michelle Gellar or no Spike or no all the other guys, I'm not watching it. It's gonna soil my memory.
Are you just gonna not even watch it then?
No, I'm not watching. I'm rewatching the old one.
Do you watch other things like Supernatural as well then?
I never got into Supernatural. I've seen some episodes. I like it. I think the two guys are hilarious together.
Yeah.
And but I haven't watched the whole show. But it's on my list. I have watched.
I'm the worst person because I listen to a podcast which is all about Supernatural, which is Monster of the Week. And I listen to it because the podcast is a good listen to, but I've never actually watched kind of like more than a couple of episodes of the show. So I've kind of learned how the show goes, but I've got this skewed view of how the characters are based completely around the way that these guys talk about it. It's Jeremy Greer and Chris Mosier, who are both friends of mine that do the kind of the Monster of the Week podcast, and it's a good listen if you haven't listened to it. It's good fun, but they're kind of like talking about the climax. I think they're up to the end of season 7 or something like that in Supernatural. So they're talking about Leviathans and stuff like that. I have no idea 85% of the time what they're talking about. However, they kind of make it entertaining that you end up catching on. So I I kind of have a strange, because they're obviously describing what the different characters are doing. So if you can imagine somebody actually going through and just reading and going through like the Buffy kind of things, my view of, you know, what say like Castiel or Bobby or Sam or Dean are kind of currently looking like, how they act and stuff like that is probably completely different from what actually happens in the TV show. So
probably
we'll have to see.
I've been doing that with books and comics for years. I listen to the Incomparable talking about books I haven't read or comics I haven't seen or old movies I haven't seen or just seen parts of. But I still listen because it's entertaining, and maybe I watch the movie later or I don't. It's still fun to listen to. Yeah,
I think as I say, one day I'm going to go back and I'm going to start watching the Supernatural TV series, and I'm just going to think it's either the best thing ever, or I'm going to think it's absolutely rubbish, or I'm going to end up having to go back and start listening to the podcast again just to kind of catch up. I'm interested to see, because I was a teenager. I was probably around about the same age as Buffy when they were doing their Buffy thing. So I kind of like was the same age, if not older, when they were on TV. So I'm kind of interested to see. I'm kind of really interested to see what they do with the next series, because how do you take Giles and make Giles? Do you take a new Giles? What do you do with Spike? What do you do with Buffy?
Yeah,
do you bring them back, or do you make them new? But then again, if you think about it, Nils, there's a whole generation of kids that Buffy hasn't really been on. So it's not like it was repeated. I don't remember it being kind of one of these shows that was repeated again and again and again. I don't think it wasn't the time of the cable TV where you'd have something that was on and then it was repeated like 5 or 6 times during the week. I think it was like Buffy was almost like an event thing in some places.
Yeah, I think it's been in syndication for a little while, but not too much, I think. So yeah, there's a lot of kids who haven't seen it. I would prefer to watch the original one, but that might not fit them, being the... I would like to say the MTV generation, but that's not true. It's the Facebook generation or the YouTube generation. So maybe the pace is wrong for them. But still, I can't see how it would work. But I might be biased.
I will see. It's difficult when you see kind of like an IP that you've kind of grown up with and you've watched every single series all the way through from the very beginning through to like almost like pretty much the end of it, and then kind of seeing it maybe kind of remade, and it's like, well, in worst case scenario, what it might do is it might encourage people to go back and look at the older stuff, but then it's kind of like how has it aged? Is it terrible? Is it good? Is it, are you going to look at it and go, yeah, that's not very good, that's a bit uncomfortable kind of thing, but we'll have to kind of see.
Yeah. I saw, just to stay on the subject a little while more, I saw the remake of MacGyver. Have you seen that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I went into it really skeptical because, I grew up in MacGyver. I watched every single season of MacGyver at least twice. Mm-hmm. But that hasn't kept too good when you rewatch it now. It's a bit campy, and I thought I'd give it a try. And you know what? It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I watched all the seasons that's been out now, and I was really enjoying it. So, yeah, it could happen. They could be doing something right, but I refer my right to be skeptical.
You're just an old-time fan.
Yeah, I'm an old fart. Get off my lawn!
Where are you going, lover boy?
Yeah, come back here. When the time comes, she's going on a date.
Yeah.
When that time comes, I'm gonna go all in bad boy style at the door.
You can't do that. You're just gonna stand at the door with like a shovel in your hand. And just when he looks out, just point to the garden where there's like a hole dug in the garden.
I haven't thought of that. Thank you.
and just say like 10 o'clock, not 1 minute later. Going.
I told my wife I want to get my dad's old shotgun. He has a shotgun that doesn't work, and I want to put it on a mantle above the door. So the first thing you see when you open the front door is the shovel. It's the shotgun, and underneath I want to put a shovel, and I want to write boyfriend material.
No, you can't do that. You might as well have a hacksaw. You might as well have a hacksaw next to it and just say, you see this hacksaw? You see this hacksaw? Really sharp. Cuts through bone in seconds.
Oh.
Dear me. We're getting kind of like into the realms of fantasy, which isn't the kind of the best place. If people want to catch Nerd Therapy, where can they find... I mean, how do they find you? Where do they go on the internet to find you guys?
You can go to Twitter at Nerd Therapy Pod. Mm-hmm. Ian usually lives on that account. And we have our Facebook page, which is Nerd Therapy Podcast. Mm-hmm. And we have, of course, you can just search us up on any podcast catcher. We're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes. Just search Nerd Therapy. And we have a webpage. It's nerdtherapy.xyz. Mm-hmm. I love that extension. So yeah, you find all the links there. And I think Jason is doing something with Tumblr on that page. I haven't watched.
Tumblr's a complete mystery.
I don't like Tumblr.
I have no idea. I get sent links occasionally to Tumblr with kind of just completely random stuff. I think the best thing I've been sent so far is somebody playing Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana on a set of children's musical instruments, and it is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I laughed so hard, but then apparently when I publish an episode, apparently that goes on Tumblr now, and I have no idea where it goes. I have no idea how it works. I don't know if you're meant to attach some kind of picture to it. I have no idea. I just, apparently it's meant to be a good thing. I am absolutely clueless when it comes to certain things. As far as I'm aware, Tumblr is useful for putting up kind of like GIFs and small videos of, as I said, Nirvana, which is fair enough as far as I'm kind of aware. If people want to catch you on the internet, where can we find you?
Well, it's basically just one place. I have a Facebook account, but I try to keep that for close friends and family only. Mm-hmm. So I am on the Facebook page we have sometimes, but if you want to talk to me, you can find me on Twitter at Heavy Metal Jesus. That's my
Which kind of I have no words. I have one word, which is why. I mean, how long have you had that for?
I've had that for, I think, since 2007.
Wow.
So it's been with me a long time. It comes from a song by Dream Evil. That's one of my favorite songs. I took it from that. And, of course, I'm Christian and I like heavy metal, so why not?
Well, there you go.
That's
fair enough.
And the name is catchy and it gets people's attention, and people just tweet me because they see my name a lot. Why? And it's a conversation starter. So I can't change. I can never change. I'm stuck.
You have to stick with it now. Because if you got it, then somebody else would get it, and that would be an absolute waste if somebody else got kind of like Heavy Metal Jesus. You can't give it up.
No,
Nils, you have to promise me that's going to stay with you.
Yeah, it's going to stay with me forever.
Forever.
I'm going to have it on my tombstone.
Just a big at sign, and then Heavy Metal Jesus lies here.
Yeah.
But give him 3 days, he might be back again.
Yeah, of course, that's true.
Yeah, that could be the kicker.
It's fun because the name has given me opportunities I wouldn't have because people take notice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going on the Broadcast Basement podcast later this week because Chris Lanuti thought that my Twitter name was fun and just it stuck in his mind. So when I hit him up and asked if he wanted a guest, he said, "Sure, yeah, why not?"
So it's useful then. It's
useful. Yeah, it serves my purpose.
Good stuff.
They even named an episode after me, so I'm happy.
Oh, there you go then. You can't get much better than that.
No, we can't.
If you want to keep an eye what we're up to, then there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can find us on Twitter, which is, I've not done this in weeks, and it's like try to remember all the things. You can go to twitter.com and you'll find us at We're Not Wizards. You can go to facebook.com and find us on We're Not Wizards. You can go to Instagram and guess what? We're Not Wizards. You can go to our blog, which is we're not wizards.blogspot.com, and go there because the wonderful Paul Kellett has written a piece, an article about Snowdonia recently. He's given us a small review, which was very, very much gratefully received. You can find us on all the podcast catchers like Stitcher and Spreaker and Acast and Player FM and all those wonderful places. If you go to Apple Podcasts, if you drop us a subscription, that would be absolutely brilliant. If you like us even more than that, then please consider dropping us a rating or a review. And as we say, if you are going to be doing that, then please don't give us a 10 because it makes us big-headed, but don't give us a 1 because it makes us cry. Give us a 5 because it's in the middle and it's a little bit average.
Yeah.
But the
and
person
of course, please do that for Nerd Therapy too.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely check them out. And as I say, what we'll do is we'll put all the links that Nils has given us in the show notes so that we have notes to show. If you wanted to support us, we do have a Patreon, which you can find on patreon.com/We're Not Wizards. We are going to be trying to ramp up the amount of content that we have in terms of, we're doing some podcasts, we're doing some writing. We're going to try and increase that over the next couple of months with what we're doing. So your help and your support would be gratefully received. And thank you to our latest Patreon, who's John, who jumped on board, and thank you very, very much for that. But thank you, Nils, for coming on the show.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing. There's one address you forgot to mention.
What's that?
WeLoveWizards.com also points to you.
Just
So you have something to explain to your followers, man.
No,
WeLoveWizards.com.
I got nothing to do with me. I think it's got something to actually do with you, and you know it fine well.
No, how can you think such a thing? And I want to say, for those who want to, if you leave Nerd Therapy a review, you have this thing going that if you do and you send us a tweet with a screenshot, we will make an NPC out of you.
Yes, which is a nice thing to do, because it's always, as we always try and say, if you listen to some content and you like the content that you're hearing, then let the people know that are making the content, because there is nothing nicer than getting a message through just to say from somebody, "Oh, I like what you're doing." It really, really makes. It can really make a difference to otherwise a dull and dreary day in this world that we inhabit at the moment.
And you can end up in our game as an NPC, and we will read your name out loud in the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, sir. It's been
it's been a blast.
pleasure. There's only 2 more things to do. The first thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards.
Are you sure?
We wizards? You don't even start. I shouldn't even ask the question. I'm not.
I need to buy more. More names.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So it's a goodbye from Nils. Say goodbye, Nils.
Goodbye, Nils.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, check out Nerd Therapy. Yeah, give it a listen. And
please do.
it's fun. It's a good laugh. It's very, very easy on the ears, and it's also incredibly funny, even with a bit of innuendo thrown in by... It's usually Chris and Penny that are the filth monsters, to be honest.
Yeah, you'd think the
single
English people
time.
were nice and polite, but
you
no.
You would think, but no, absolutely just filth. It's just ridiculous. But until the next time, goodbye. Say goodbye, Nils.
Bye.